this is literally one of the worst organized Disney things I have ever seen in my life.
Hello, hi there.
Halloween has returned, and along with it, some very scary traffic patterns at the Disneyland Resort. And as always at Disneyland, while some doors open, others close again. We have your guide on how to celebrate Hispanic and Latin American Heritage Month, a new store that has showed up inside of New Orleans Square, confirmation yet lots of vague information on Magic Bands Plus coming to the Disneyland Resort, and if it's going to be a toy or a tool. Let's jump right in and discover everything new this week at the Disneyland Resort. Greetings, fellow citizens of Disneyland. Bricky here with a weekly update to look around at everything new that I'm able to find this week out at the Disneyland Resort. It's my favorite day of the week to take a lap around Disneyland and to take each of you with me. What do you say? Let's go around the entire resort finding everything new this week at Disneyland. Let's jump over to Avengers Campus to look at the Inflatable Hulk, where I would wait over 2 hours for a disastrous meet and greet, and I'm going to show you all the mistakes I made and help you from making those same mistakes if seeing the Inflatable Hulk is something that is important to you. But first off, let's go back to D23 just a few weeks ago and let me show you how this information of a Hulk coming to Avengers Campus struck me when I first heard the news.
Well, we got Avengers Campus here.
Hey guys. I just wanted to jump in quickly. I'm watching a live stream and this is amazing. But I had one suggestion, maybe suggesting that you expand the palette a little bit. You got red and blue, you got red and gold, you got black and silver. I'm just saying you might need a little color. How about a little green? Just a suggestion. Asking you to think about it. I'll let you go now. I think you guys did an amazing job.
How do you get that number, first of all? You shouldn't go back into it. But I think you should get your people on that. We can start working on that and get that in the works. I think that'd be pretty cool. You guys want to see a Hulk at some point?
Isn't this Avengers Campus?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to meet Steve in one of those something cons.
Something. This is D23 Expo, Hulk.
Oh, the time-space GPS must be off. Now I'm annoyed.
Well, Hulk, we would love to have you at Avengers Campus. Maybe you can do like a meet and greet. Great to see you. Hey, can you find the exit? Can you find the exit?
I'll make that.
Hulk in a big spacesuit.
So I'll be honest, out of the gate, I was already skeptical of what this would look like, but I had to go see it with my own eyes. And if we look at the historical record of Avengers Campus, when specialty characters show up, they typically don't last longer than a week. So if this is something that you really want to see, or you just have a curiosity like I did, do not hesitate. I guarantee you Hulk will not be there for very long. So now let me tell you everything that I did wrong and how you can do it right. As soon as Black Panther takes off his harness. Okay, friend, this is what I did wrong. I showed up 2 hours early. The cast members will not tell you when Hulk is going to show up. They would only say he's not going to be here for a long time, but does that mean 15 minutes or 15 hours or tomorrow? They will not give you any information, so my advice is don't even ask, because they smugly play this game with you that just isn't fun or funny, especially if you were trying to manage the expectations of, say, a child. Where I did see some parents that showed up with kids dressed like Hulk or wearing Hulk paraphernalia that just eventually gave up and wandered away, and they didn't come back, so as far as I know, they never actually got to see the Hulk. Because without posted wait times, it literally is just a roll of the dice or an overly long commitment, such as what I did. So we waited around the rope for the Hulk. Eventually, one of the CMs did tell us he was getting ready to show up, but that was only told to us about 90 seconds before he came out. That cast member told us to go stand against the rail over in front of Pim's Test Kitchen, which we did. And then all these other people came up and created rows in front of us. So we waited a long time and were already pushed to the back row. Not that big of a deal if Hulk actually did a little bit of a show or an interactive experience, but it ends up becoming a photo op. Then when the CMs let everyone line up for the photo op, because we were pushed to the back row, we were already at the end of the photo line. All of the people that were at the start of the photo line were just random people that were walking through Avengers Campus that just grabbed that spot. Anyone who waited got pushed back 50, 100 people in line, and then they closed the line. So literally, I waited longer than anyone and got the worst spot than anyone. In fact, the line was closed by the time I was able to go get a spot in line. So my advice would be this: if you really, really want to see the Hulk, hang out over on the far right patio of Pym's Test Kitchen. When he comes out, immediately go over to the edge of the building where the Avengers Campus logo is and just form the line yourself. Don't get pushed out of the way. Be number one. You'll get in and you'll get out. The only thing you will be out is an extremely long wait time because it was over 2 hours in between his performances on Thursday. And I use the term performances lightly because it is an appearance, and if this is where this project ultimately goes, this project is a complete disaster of a project. It's a failure through and through. However, if this is step one of Project Exoskeleton, then yeah, it'll be great in a couple of years. But what they rushed out right now is pretty embarrassing. The reason why Hulk is wearing a spacesuit is because the entire exoskeleton is wrapped in fabric. Even his hands is wrapped in fabric. So the reason why Hulk is wearing a spacesuit is because they couldn't actually create the articulation of his muscle buildup or his actual face, which is why they're wearing a motorcycle helmet and looking through the sun visor. All in all, the cast members, who I'm not blaming them, this is a management decision, but they make this incredibly more difficult than it needs to be. People that are casually walking through simply get the best view. All of the yelling at everybody, don't line up here, don't go here, don't go there, it is anything but magical. It's quite frankly just a disaster. He comes out, everything goes crazy, they're doing a photo op in middle of the only walkway to go from one edge of Avengers Campus to the other. They couldn't have picked a worse spot to do this. The people flow is absolutely horrible. All of the cross yelling and giving instructions to people over and over again. Cast members creating a human wall so that deter you from actually taking a photograph or a video. To be honest with you, after this was done, so this is literally one of the worst organized Disney things I have ever seen in my life. I just kind of felt like a chump for even covering it, and I just wanted to go back to my car and leave. It just put a bad taste in my mouth because it was so not what Disney customer service used to be about. If this is a beta for the suit program and it goes on to bigger and better things and we can see a fully articulated Incredible Hulk or King Thanos later down the road, then this will just be a funny step along the way of progress. But this is where this project ends. This, my friends, was a complete Disney disaster. And the real losers here are small children that can't really get a good look at him, or their parents that don't know when to bring them to see the Hulk. And the biggest loser here are the cast members, because they are given an unwinnable situation where somebody in management has got to figure out a better way to make these meet and greets happen, especially if they're going to do them on a lower ground level like this in the middle of the main artery of Avengers Campus. All in all, 0 stars. And this was the big D23 announcement that we got right out of the gate. My advice, make this something that if you're lucky enough to stumble upon, congratulations, you won an inflatable Hulk. But do not go out of your way for this, and if you do, pack a lot of patience.
Back in by myself.
And we're all very proud of you. Okay, have fun, you guys.
Of course we will. Hey, hi there.
If you're here to meet the Hulk, guys.
That way! Line's gonna be that way!
Here's trouble. What's up?
Walk there! Walk there!
Right this way!
Let's keep the walk this way!
Hello.
All right, enough of the constructive criticism. Let's hop over to something that I really enjoyed that happened this week. Eudora's Chic Boutique featuring Tiana's Gourmet Secrets. Friends like you, I love New Orleans Square, and I have to say this is such a nice addition to the neighborhood that is New Orleans Square. And as much as I love this ombre skirt, I thought it was mostly going to just be clothing. But I was surprised to see that other than some of the normal things you would expect, like ears and different various outfits, it does have a New Orleans Square vibe because there's cooking supplies in here, kitchen supplies, different types of items that actually celebrate New Orleans. But my favorite thing is you always got to look up top, because that's where the Disneyland storytelling begins, and I loved all the different decorations that I was able to discover as I looked around the top lines of this fantastic new little store inside of New Orleans Square. We have sketches and artwork and all kinds of different art pieces to see where we're going, but we also have these beautiful colored glasses that all have fleur-de-lis ornating them, which the fleur-de-lis is not only the symbol of the Saints in New Orleans, but my hometown of Louisville, Kentucky. So when I see a fleur-de-lis, I see a little bit of home. Which is exactly what this shop is meant to be, a little bit of home inside of New Orleans Square. It's got history, it's got different shout outs to not only the film franchise, but the city that it's supposed to represent. I think if this is an indication of how we're going to see the theming be for the new version of Splash Mountain, we're in a good spot. Really enjoyed coming in here and looking around. This is a location that has been closed the entire time that the parks have reopened, and I thought it was like most great stores inside of New Orleans Square, a little bit different, has a different vibe of everything that you see up and down Main Street. It does have a unique vibe to New Orleans. Now, I know that some of this merchandise is probably just filler that they put in here, but if Disney does their job and stacks this appropriately with items that we can only find in this shop, like say the perfumery across the way or the Crystal Arcade type of store that's just directly across from it, where we also have the artists doing the character sketches. There's a vibe inside of New Orleans Square, and I think that this very much fits inside of that vibe. The merchandise can kind of come and go, but it's got good bones. Loved all the various different type of lighting fixtures that are hanging down. I like these glass acrylic ones. Some of them were crystal, and there was a lot of pageantry of the things that were decorated all along the side of the walls. I am from the South. I do feel like a lot of these decorations are things that people that I knew in my neighborhood had hanging up on that high shelf in the living room that the kids can't touch. There's just a lot of assortment of different textures and vibes inside of a store that has a pretty small footprint. And you know what they say, birds of a feather flock together. And I actually did hear the store say that. There is over in the top corner some different audio tracks that play randomly. Here we see lots of different Mardi Gras masks that ornate the walls, and below them are different sketches to show how fashion would be inspired by some of these New Orleans classics. All in all, I was impressed. I know some people have complained about it, but I feel like it really fits inside of the neighborhood. And I think people that are upset were maybe upset more with the merchandise selection, which doesn't really matter to me because, hey, I was able to find my Bud McBiff's painting in here, right? Like there's actual art inside of the shop, not just the things that we see over in the Emporium. And by the way, McBiff, you slayed it with this one, buddy. A fantastic addition to New Orleans Square, and I hope you think so too. On our last episode of Update, I warned you that Oogie Boogie really changes traffic flow at the Disneyland Resort. And look at this example. This is about 2 o'clock, an hour before people can even get inside of Oogie Boogie's Bash, but they've got entryway to DC-8 down to less than half of total gates that they could open up. I don't quite understand why they would do this so early and why they wouldn't just open up more gates or put more cast members in there. There are guests waiting to get in while you can see there's cast members just standing over there doing nothing. Once again, bad management at the Disneyland Resort. Friends, even though I can be constructive with my criticism, I criticize because I care and I love this place. Well, the good news is nothing's happening to Tomorrowland. Nothing's happening to the People Mover, just like I wanted. I literally can't believe I'm rooting for nothing to happen in a Disneyland, but I really care about this park. I care about this land and its future, and I don't want to see a bunch of patchwork, cost-cutting measures to try to stretch it the next couple of decades. I'd rather get no news than like temporary news to a very long-term problem. But we will be keeping our eye on this building right above my finger here, where that DVC lounge curiously is going in, even though we didn't get any sort of a People Mover update. I really thought that would be a scene for us to see as we're going by on the People Mover. So yeah, kind of like worst case scenario ever for this weird update. Unless, of course, you're a DVC club member where you're going to enjoy your new lounge overlooking us regular folks inside of Tomorrowland that is currently stuck as Sorrowland for at least a few more years or decades. Friends, if you don't subscribe to the channel, that means that you're happy with Tomorrowland. So subscribe, make a difference. I don't know how it makes a difference, but if you subscribe to the channel, it shows that you are against what's happening to Tomorrowland. But don't subscribe. Oh, you think it's perfect. You think it's the best land, you say, because you're not subscribed to the channel? How dare you? How dare you not want a better tomorrow? How dare you not subscribe to the channel and let us keep bringing you these updates weekly? So it's definitely interesting when the concept art has been outside so long for a project that it's actually started to sun fade. That's how long this temporary structure's been here, which behind it are some control panels that the French fry rocks used to cover. But yeah, another item that just was conveniently not talked about whatsoever at D23. So no idea if this is still happening or if we're just going to roll with the construction boxes for, a few more years. Fascinating to see what happens. Comment below, do you think that anything's going to happen here, or are we just going to get this box for a while? Because they did put in new landscaping, but they didn't take away the box. Over on the edge of downtown Disney, the former ESPN zone, we see that the Soulfully exhibit that was in here has been removed. This was the Soul of Jazz and had some really great vintage Disneyland artifacts inside of it. I hope you got to catch it out, and I also hope that something comes back here on the edge of downtown Disney. And speaking of downtown Disney, it's going to be the home to celebrate Hispanic and Latin American Heritage Month. That kicked off this week and will run till the middle of October, October 15th, all across the Disneyland Resort, where you can enjoy a vibrant mix of cultural festivities, arts, crafts, entertainment, specialty food and drinks, and a whole lot of fun. In the evenings, you can celebrate musica and listen and dance to Hispanic and Latin American bands. It'll be happening over on the Downtown Disney stage. And I think one of the ideas with the new Downtown Disney that's coming is to put more entertainment into Downtown Disney. There are these kiosks that are conveniently located that you can just go up at a glance and understand what's happening on the date of your visit. And after 3 p.m., you'll be enjoy tasty bites from Latino-owned food trucks such as Kiki's Cuban Food and Vicho's beginning at 3 p.m. every afternoon. There's also some fun little craft stations that are set up where you and the kids can get out the colored pencils and make some different things. If you're just coming to downtown Disney to eat and you don't have park reservations, this is a fun little thing to do with the kids. Or maybe you're coming in from out of town and you're looking to burn some hours before that vacation actually kicks off. But cast members here are willing to show you how to put together this little mobile, and just a fun little thing that they don't have to do, but they're doing it. And I think that should always be celebrated, as well as fun to see another cultural celebration happening in downtown Disney, as it really sort of embodies the idea of what we see that happens across the country over at Epcot, where there's so many different cultural things always happening. A lot of this is also going on inside of DCA, where I was able to find this amazing mariachi band that was performing. And don't forget, there's also the Coco Puppeteer show that happens right on the edge of the Paradise Gardens. It is a fantastic show, and after a while, you forget that there's a puppeteer behind Coco. I know it's not really his name, but I can't stop jabbing those that don't get that joke. Fun photo spots, and of course, food. Right around the corner from where I'm filming, there was the barbecue stand that showed up. That's already been taken out and now has a menu full of various different Hispanic food offerings for you. If this event is something to interest you, head over to Disney Parks blog for all the information on the various locations celebrating Hispanic and Latin American Heritage Month at the Disneyland Resort. All right, friends, what is the deal with Magic Band Plus? They say that it's coming to Disneyland, but they also don't say when exactly it's coming. And I'm going to be so curious to see what level of experience do we get with Magic Bands. Entering the theme park is my dream, but we have to make sure that there's gates only for Magic Band Plus wearers, because if not, you're still waiting for everybody else. And just because you go through in 2 seconds doesn't negate the fact that you waited 20 minutes for people that had to take their photos and set up tickets for the first time. So the ease of the park will work if there are special areas for people wearing Magic Bands Plus. I'm for sure buying one as soon as they come. I love my Magic Band when I go out to the East Coast, and I'm excited to see that come to the West Coast as well. The only indication I've seen that they're preparing for this, though, is the construction build-out that we're seeing over in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, where soon we'll be able to play the Bounty Hunter game that appeared a couple of months earlier out on the East Coast. And as fun as something like this probably is, this is something that I might do once, but I go into the park on every single visit. That's kind of how it works, right? So I'm hoping the Magic Band Plus is way more of a tool that speeds up some of the parts of Disneyland that run much slower than the Magic Kingdom out east.
I'm coming. Hey, back so soon.
And speaking of out east, we are headed out to Walt Disney World all next week. You'll be seeing all kinds of fun vlogs and updates. I'll be out there for Epcot 40th, and I found some really fun magical moments inside of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge this week, as there were a lot of cast members out and cast members doing some really special things, like choking each other, but also choking me up in the process. Now, I don't know exactly what's happening here, but it really seems like to me somebody is leaving their job and wanted some photos to remember their good times of being a citizen of Batu and entertaining all the citizens of Disneyland. These are those magical little moments that I love to stand back and capture and remind myself just how much I love this place. D23 was a bust. Some of the things they announced were a bust, but I'm going to keep coming back because these magical little moments do exist, and there is a happiness that I can still find on each and every visit to the Disneyland Resort. And as long as I can keep finding that magic at Disneyland, you'll keep finding me at Disneyland. So let's say that my guess is correct, and maybe this is Chewy's last shift. If that's the case, or to any of the Chewy's out there, thank you so much for what all of you do. You don't get paid nearly enough for the magic that you create for all of us.
Wasted a lot of time with that Hulk meet and greet. Hopefully my advice helps you make better decisions, and if it really is important to you, by all means, wait for it. But it was kind of a disaster for me, for somebody who was just casually interested. And real quick, on the last update video I did, I said that if you subscribe to the channel, I donate $1 in your name for the first week. And we were able to raise $90, which puts us really, really close to $500 for Children's Hospital of Orange County. So let's roll it again. My way of saying thank you for subscribing to the channel, and hopefully you're having a good time while you're here. Thanks to all my friends over at Club 1313 for making today's possible, and thank you for showing up and subscribing.